Okay, so in this video we are going to look at some more interesting colors more interesting ways to color the Frost and Krakatoa. So we're going to start from the velocity coloring point where we have come up with. Now, so I'm going to create the Frost now. Attach it to the Krakatoa and set it up. Okay, so something like this. So now, this is cool, but what if I want to take the colors from the PRT that I have created and apply them to the Frost? Actually, if let's see if I just render. You see everything is gray because I have no color information getting sent to Frost in any way. Just some time for the URL and stuff. So before I actually shade my Frost in the rendering, I'm gonna make a viewport color. So if I select my PRT, as we saw that actually there is a color in the PRT, and the cool thing is that Frost is automatically picking up the color channel from the particles that it meshes, and it sends them to a vertex color. So we can actually display this in the viewport, and it can be very useful to see like colors on the mesh. So what am I going to do is I'm going to go here and going to make a new material. Just copy the gray one. I'm going to call this vertex color and apply it to the Frost. Just going to hide the PRT. So to display the vertex color here, I need a couple of things. First, I need a vertex color map here, and then I need to turn on the vertex color display. And now you can see that I have actually my blue and white colors of the PRT. Now let's, for example, make the slower color a bit greenish. If I update, you can see that I can already see them in the viewport. Of course, that is really nice just because it gives you the option to actually see as you are meshing stuff without running your colors, and they give you an option to tweak them, which is really cool. And practically what happens is that simply when you want to render passes that you want to send to compositing, and you can just create colors based on different things, and you can see them in the viewport, and render them just for compositing to create masks and stuff like this. So now this is really nice, but the problem with that whole setup is that you see here we have just a blend between two colors, the slow and the fast color. So I'm just going to hide the Frost for now. So the easiest way to overcome this limitation, if you want to blend it with a more like an interesting color range, is to actually change the way this whole setup works. So instead of going on this kind of route of blending the colors here, what am I gonna do is that I'm gonna, instead of using the colors here and sending them to color, I'm actually gonna let's first copy everything here. Gonna copy it, gonna turn this one on. Gonna work into a new one. So what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna actually create UVs based on these velocity, not color. And when I have these UVs, I can use them in the material editor to drive a gradient. So it is going to work very similarly. And I will just need a 0 to 1 UVs, so I will need to make this thing here texture code. So texture code channel is pretty much basically UV1 channel. And then if you want to use the other UV channels, you can just go here and you can see that there is mapping from 2 until 99, which is all the mapping channels that Maps allows you, which is of course cool because you can map different stuff on different mapping channels. It's very nice. So I'm going to get rid of this stuff that I don't need here anymore. We'll just need the clamp thing sent to texture code, but since this is just a scalar, I will need to turn it to a vector, and I will just need the x filled up. So I'm just going to have like a solid UV gradient on the x-axis, which is exactly what is good for the gradient ramp, if I want to have a mapped gradient ramp. And now it is nice that you can actually assign other stuff to the y and to the y channel. The z obviously we're not going to be using, but to the y channel, because for example you can have another value and you can get something like a function between the two. You can have a mapping between for example, the velocity and the distance to something. So when you map the distance to something into the y here and the velocity to something else, you can do stuff like sample from a texture in a nice way. Anyway, let's see how this is going to work. So we are not going to be having anything in the viewport now, just because the whole thing is only sent to UV over there. And I'm going to actually this time assign a material to them. Let's start actually by just creating it. So this is going to be our gradient material. So, and I want to be able to render it with Krakatoa also, so I'm just going to turn it to a standard material. So in the diffuse, I'm going to put a gradient ramp. I'm going to set that gradient ramp to max. And I'm going to, actually no, linear is okay. Just because it is getting here sampled with the UV channel. I'm going to turn this guy off. I'm going to make this like red, green. And I'm going to turn to Krakatoa. Let me see if there's any lights in the scene that are not showing the factors. Nothing. Okay, I'm just going to add some lights. And I will need to assign the material to the vertical. And again, so you can see now that I have our the red to the green, sweep. So our velocity is getting assigned. And now the problem is that I don't really see this thing in the viewport. This is the first problem, obviously. I don't see this thing in the viewport. And the second problem is going to be that Frost is picking up on the channel, on the color channel. So, if I send the UVs to the Frost, actually, I think it is going to pick up on the, yeah, actually it does immediately pick up. I can even see it in the vertex color. This is cool, something I didn't really think of, but yeah, it's nice. So you can see the stuff on the Frost, can't really see it on the Krakatoa yet. But I can just add a magma, and I can actually sample the texture map here. So I can get an input, I can say text map. So I think it's this one, and I can say explicit channel inputs, texture code. So I can get the input from the particles, texture code, I can send it to the gradient ramp, to the text map. This is going to do a lookup on that UVs, from the UVs on the texture, and it's going to produce color, the color that you can see on the texture, and I can get it here. If I redraw, you're going to see that I have this already. The lookup is working. The only problem is that this is going to actually put data in the color channel. And the way Krakatoa is solving it, because if we don't want data in the color channel, we just want the viewport, there is a cool thing called PRT viewport color. So if I write this channel, then I'm still going to have the thing working, but then in the data viewer, I'm not going to have this stuff getting written actually here. It does into the color channel. The point is that you can have another color. Okay. Explicit vector into the color. This time it's white, draw, and in the data viewer should be seeing white now. For some reason. This is because of the material actually. Let me strip down the material. Just because Krakatoa is automatically looking up the color and the material. So let's no longer. It should be white now. Yes, it's white. So you see I have a different color from the viewport color. Okay, so this is cool. Now let's go to the Frost. Frost has picked up on our explicit color channel, so let's actually turn this on. Again. And just because it doesn't have the material now, it's going to show up if I assign that material to the PRT again. But actually now I want to do something else. Now I want to use that gradient in Frost for some other purpose. So let's make a new material. This time I'm going to make a mixed material. Actually, yeah, blend. So one of the main things that you can use this thing with Frost with is to actually mix materials, just because if you just blend colors, the problem is that all the parameters of the shader are going to remain the same. It's just going to be like a diffuse or some other color blended. And it is often most convenient to actually have two materials, like two different shaders, and then blend between them with the with this coordinates. So I'm going to go here. Actually, I'm going to go into the gradients, and I'm going to just make it black to white. And I'm going to use that gradient term to mask here. So I'm going to have one material is going to be, let's say, purplish, then the other material is going to be oxanish. And it is this blend material I'm going to assign to the Frost. Now I'm going to get only the thing that gets sent to the vertex color in the viewport, just because obviously this is the vertex color and the blend is something else, like doing a lookup there on the blended material. But if I switch back to view in Krakatoa, and if I render it, you're going to see I will be getting the cyanish to greenish transition. Now this is cool because one of the let's actually try. Just need to dip a couple of renders to see the materials. So let's say one of these materials is our water shader. So it's going to be, let's say, on the slow. And then on the fast one, we can make an instance and we can say this is like white water. And on the white water, you can just decrease the reflectivity, make the diffuse, white and stuff like that. Just something which is gonna give your color a bit more of a more muffled or muddy kind of look. Just for a second. So actually, this is the most common way. Like most convenient for me to shade out the first stuff, just because here haven't really nailed the white water stuff. Needs environments and so on, but you obviously you can, the fact that you can blend the materials with the channel from data channel from Naiad is obviously very nice, just because you can create really shade it nicely if you have better shading with than. And the other bonus point obviously is that you can render lots of these masks and secondary elements for compositing that the comp people really like, because they're useful in isolating pieces of the thing based on a certain parameter and giving them a mask so they can actually tweak how the colors are looking at that place exactly. And of course, besides the Frost, being able to color the PRT in a nice way. Obviously, if you go into here into the gradient, you have the added option that you can add colors in between. So it's not going to be just your start and end colors. You can have whatever interesting ramp that you need. So this is giving you another flexibility in that area also. Cool.